Hi, my name's Michelle and this is my channel Sewing Bunny, and today's video is a sew along for the Helens Closet Gilbert top, which you may be able to see on my screen here. It comes as a PDF pattern, and so I've got the A0 copy printed here, and I've got the instructions up on screen as well so that I can refer to those whenever I need, and also might be helpful for you guys to kind of see the stuff on the screen as well. So with today's sew along, also if you do stay tuned till the end, there are some opportunities to actually win this pattern. The lovely Helen from Helen's Closet did actually contact me when she found out that I was going to be doing a sew along for this, and she said to me, would you like, a few copies of the PDF to do as a giveaway? So that's amazing. So if you stay tuned till the end, then you could get your hands on a copy of this pattern. So the first thing is I'm going to work out what size I need to trace off. I love to trace patterns just purely because if I haven't made a pattern before, I don't know exactly how it's going to fit, and you've probably seen from some of my other makes that I sometimes have to grade between sizes, so I do tend to try and stick to tracing a pattern. So in the instructions it does give you everything you need to work out what size you need to cut. So I'm going to scooch over here and sorry, we've got Bentley. Hello. Yes. So I'm going to scroll down if Bentley gets out the way. Oh, I should actually say what view I'm making. I will insert a close-up picture. You're not helping, are you, Bentley? Oh. I will insert a picture of view A and view B. I'm making the tie front version. So I'm going to scroll down on the instructions and I'm going to go down to where it says about the sizing. Now it gives you different cup sizes in this pattern. So depending on the difference between your high bust and your full bust, yes, it determines what cup size you are. Now I've got a 2-inch difference from my high bust to my full bust. So it means that I am a B cup in sewing pattern sizes, or at least in this one. Bentley. Come on, get in here. Come on. That's it, you stay there. Okay, so, sorry, so yes, I'm a B cup, so I'm going to have a look at the B cup size ranges. So now you go on to actually finding what size you need in that B cup section. And on here it does say that for a full bust of a 36.5 is a size 10, but the waist on that is a 29 and the hips is a 38.5. Now I am a 36 bust, I'm a 30 waist and I'm a 40 hip. So I was toying with the idea of should I size up to the size 12, which is a full bust of a 38, and then it is a 30 waist and a 40 hip. But if you scroll down a bit more, you do get the finished measurements as well. And actually for a size 10, the full bust comes up to 41.7. So it is quite a loose fitting shirt. And I actually kind of think that I'll be all right with the size 10 because the waist on the size 10 finished is 40.8. So that gives me over 10 inches of ease. So I think that's going to be quite a nice fit. So I'm going to cut out the size 10. So I'm going to get tracing the pattern, and so I will put you on a fast forward as I'm tracing it out. And yeah, sorry if you can hear noise. The window's open because it's actually a really hot day today, so apologies if you can hear any noise. or for any cats who choose to interrupt. Also, yeah, I didn't tell you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Soho House 7 Underwood Tank that I've got in a lovely viscose jersey that I got from Sew Over It, I think, ages ago. And you may see, or you may have noticed that this is the dress as part of my title screen. It's lovely. It's so nice and floaty. Yes, anyway, I'm going to grab myself a cup of tea and then I'll get tracing. Okay, so that is all the pattern pieces traced and cut out. For some reason on one of them I decided to trace out a 12, and you might have seen I had to kind of scrap that and, you know, do the size 10. But yeah, I've made sure they're all size 10, and I've also used the instructions to just make sure that I've got the correct pieces. So I've got 8 pieces which lines up with the instructions. So that is that bit done. So now it is on to cutting the fabric, which is this lovely fabric here. You may have seen it already from my August sewing plans, and it is this gorgeous Lady McElroy cotton lawn. It does look quite creased, but I did actually iron it last night. I think it just gets a little bit creasy. But yeah, it is this gorgeous cotton lawn with these beautiful boats on, and this was given to me by Felicity Fabrics in exchange for a review. So this is why you may have seen from the title that it is a Felicity Fabrics vlog post, because they did give me the fabric in exchange for a review. That is why I've put that on there. So thank you very much, Felicity Fabrics, for giving me this beautiful fabric. And yeah, so I am going to get round to cutting this out now. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous because this is Lady McElroy fabric, and yeah, hopefully I should be okay. I've got 2 meters. So for a size 10, the fabric requirements on this was, yes, 150 centimetre width fabric is 1.2 meters. And if it's 115 centimetres wide, it's 1.7. So this is 140, so I should be absolutely fine with that, but I have got the 2 meters just in case I need it. So yes, I am going to get started now cutting out the fabric. so that is all the pattern pieces cut out. There is one piece which you don't cut out on fabric, which is this, which is the buttonhole kind of placement guide. So yeah, it just says obviously to cut one out on paper so you can help line up those buttonholes. So that's that one. And then also I have interfaced. There are two sections to interface, which is the part of the collar and also the front facing. I have tried attempting possibly pattern matching the pocket. I'm not that experienced with pattern matching, as in, well, I can only really do like stripes maybe down the side. I'm not good at pattern matching actual patterns. This is my first go, so I'm going to see how I get on. You never know. I have tried to place the front of the shirt so that you know, it's not going to look ridiculous if it does go wrong. So yeah, fingers crossed that one will turn out okay. I'm not sure whether the pocket is going to be on this side or this side, because I've got a feeling that the, well, whichever way it pattern matches best, I'm going to put on whichever side. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. And so now I'm going to move on to the actual construction. So first thing is first is to interface those pieces, and then it is also saying that you've got to stay stitch the necklines, the armholes, and part of the little tie sections. So I'm going to do that now. For anyone that's wondering about Bentley, he is sleeping down here. He is very snug. So yeah, I think he might leave me alone for a while, so he can just sleep away. Okay, so I have interfaced the front facing pieces and also one part of the collar. Bentley decided to run out when I was doing that, so he is gone now. So I'm going to do the stay stitching part of that, and I will check in with you afterwards. So I have done my stay stitching. So I don't know if this is going to show up, but I've done it on the yoke pieces and also on the front pieces. So I've done the neckline, the armhole, and the tie, kind of all around there. So hopefully nothing will stretch out. So I've had a look. The next part of the instructions is to put in the darts. So I'm going to do that next. Okay, so that is my darts sewn and pressed, as you can see there. So yeah, it's looking good. You might have seen that I used a tailor's ham to get pressing on those darts. It just gives it a little bit better shape. So it's looking good, I feel, so far. Seems like things are reasonably in the right place, so that is a good sign. And then next up is to sew the pocket. So yeah, just a little bit of folding and top stitching on that, and then I think it's then placing that on the front. Yes, So yeah, I'm going to get sewing the pocket. Okay, so I've sewn the pocket and basically my pattern matching was rubbish. So first off, I matched it on the wrong side. It's meant to be, the pocket's meant to be on your left side, and I tried to pattern match my pocket on the right side. Now normally I wouldn't mind, you know, pocket can go on either side, but when I placed it on here, it was so ridiculously out. And I think it's because the bust dart obviously brings everything up and kind of shapes it a bit differently. So yeah, it looked really bad. So I've stuck with the instructions and I've done it on the left side. And actually, I think it's okay. I mean, yeah, it's not pattern matched or anything, but I don't think it looks ridiculously out of place. And, you know, maybe this one kind of looks like it's sort of together. I mean, these boats are a bit close together, but do you know what? I think it's going to be absolutely fine. It's actually my first pocket on a shirt, so yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely fine. I'm very happy with it. So the next bit is to actually now top stitch the pocket in place. So I'm going to do that, and then it goes on to lining up the yoke. So I'll attach the pocket and then I'll come back to you. So there we have one pocket. I think it looks really good. I'm happy with it. So yeah, I have top stitched around there. So yeah, as I said, the next step is the yoke. So it looks like, if I can find my yoke pieces. Okay, so this is the back section. And so what I've got to do is I've got to sandwich the two yoke sections. So it looks like, yeah, that's reasonably straightforward. So one right sides together and one wrong sides together by the looks of it. So that one, right side against wrong side, and then right side against right side. Hope that makes sense. So you've got the right side of this yoke and the wrong side of the back. So you line those up, and then you've got the right side of the other yoke piece, right sides together. And then you sew across, and then it looks like you trim the seam allowance. And yeah, then we're on to the next step. So yeah, let me get that bit done. Right, so I have sewn all those pieces together. So I've got 3 layers of fabric. And then what I've done is I've trimmed the seam allowance just ever so slightly, and also graded one of the seam allowances as well. So there's 3 layers of fabric, so I've trimmed one of the layers down to kind of about half again, if you can see that at all. And just so it reduces bulk when I think you go and do the burrito method a bit later on. So the next step is to actually attach the back to the front now. And the pictures do look quite good on here. So it looks like you have to put your yoke facing, which is this one, because you've got the right side of the fabric and then the wrong side of the back. So this is your yoke facing. So that one you want to lay down that way. And so you're then left with the back right side up and then the yoke right side up. So you've got the whole back facing you. Before I sew anything together, I will press this as well, because you've got to press it all up. And then what you do is you put on your front pieces. So again, right sides together. So one there and one, that's the pocket one, on there. But what you need to do is when you pick it up, you need just to make sure that you drop that yoke section at the back out the way. That's the yoke facing. So you're just left with 2 layers to sew at the shoulder seam. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to press the yoke up, I'm going to sew along the shoulder seams, and then I'll come back to you. So I have sewn on the back to the front bits and then also pressed the seam allowances to the back. So that is that bit done. So yeah, looking good. You may have seen Bentley popped back in, so he's getting himself all settled again, aren't you? Hey? So the next step is to then deal with the front facing pieces, which are here. So from the instructions, I don't know if you can see it from there, but you've got to fold over a 1/4 inch, almost like a hem on these, and then you attach them to the front section, sorry, the back of the shirt, and then press the seam allowances. So we've got, it's going to be, there we go. So if we lay it down this way, so we've got the facing piece here, which is right side up, and the back piece, which is the wrong side up. So this is the facing. And then once I've kind of more or less hemmed the sections on there, then it is a case of putting these on that side, lining up the shoulder. So yeah, just like that. Okay, so I will get going with that now. So that's that bit done. So I've sewn these on, and do you know what, actually pressing these kind of like hem pieces, if you will, weren't actually that bad. I thought the corners might be a bit tricky, but actually it was okay. And then what I've done as well is I've graded the seams on the shoulders again, so it tells you to for the facing piece to grade that seam. So again, I don't know if that's going to show, but this is one piece and then this is the other piece, and you can see that I've trimmed the seam to about half of that. So that's that done. And then now it's moving on to the collar. So yeah, this bit is the bit that makes me a bit nervous, but we'll give it a go. So it looks like we have got to put the collars right sides facing. Oops. So the right side, and then that's the right side. So put those together, and then it's sew across this section and trim those seams. And then you've got to turn it the right side out and then top stitch the whole thing. So that seems quite straightforward. So yeah, I'll see how that goes. So I've done that stage. Now I was a little bit worried because when I was sewing this, as you can see, it is upside down. But my theory is that if the collar, so if it is upside down, once it gets sewn on, it's then going to be folded back on itself, and in which case then the boats are facing the right way. At least that's how it works out in my head. I'm sure that's right. Anyway, yes, I'll carry on with that. I'm sure that my logic works, I think. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the next stage. And the next bit is attaching the collar to the neckband. So I've got some notches on there that I match up. So yeah, and then we're on to the burrito method after that. So we're at that point now where the sun likes to come in. So I tried to just put a bit of fabric up to try and block the sun, and then also put on my light. So I hope the light is okay. You may have seen I had to unpick some of the collar because me and collars strike again. But I have managed to get it in okay now. What I was doing is I was trying to sew it from one side and it kept puckering underneath, so all I did is I took all the pins out and then actually pinned it from the inside so that I could kind of manoeuvre the fabric a little bit more. And yeah, now it looks okay. So I'm happy with that. So the next thing is the burrito method. So I'm just going to have a look through some of this. So, okay, so I've got it to look like the picture. So it's all face up, so you've got your collar piece here and then your back piece here. And then you're going to take just the back piece, so you're leaving behind the two front facing pieces, and you're going to roll this. So you're going to roll it towards you, and then once you get to basically the centre of that, you then want to grab hold of your front facing pieces and bring that over like so. And then you've got to make sure that your collar is sandwiched in between. I see, yes. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, it's one of those things that probably doesn't make any sense to you watching it, me doing it, but when you look at the instructions and kind of see how it works, it does kind of make sense. So it feels like it doesn't make any sense at all, and then suddenly it's like, ah, yes. So yeah, I know where I need to sew now. So I'm going to stitch all that around, and then I think we just pull it out after that. So yeah, I'm going to give that a go. So I just thought I would show you the stage of when I've pinned it. So you can see here, or if you can see, this is the bit which you kind of rolled up and kind of sausaged in between all the layers. And then you pin the facings to the front, and then all around the neck, and then you've got your other facing there as well. So hopefully, if you are wanting to make this, once you've done the burrito, should kind of look like that in theory. Right, I'm going to sew it up now. Okay, so that is all sewn up. You may have seen I had to get the unpicker out because, yeah, there was a few bits kind of around the collar area which did get a bit puckered. So I kind of undid little bits of those and redid them. So I think it all looks a lot cleaner. All the notches and everything matched up really well on this. So yeah, I was very happy. And I think I've got all a pucker-free area now, which is great. So now I've got to trim all of it and then cut into all the curves. So I'm hoping this better be right because, yeah, once I do that, then it's going to be difficult to fix if it's not right. But have confidence, Michelle. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. Fingers crossed. Yes, I've done it right. I was so happy when I all let it out. I was so nervous, but yes, it has worked out perfectly. So this is the inside. So you can see you've got the one side of the collar, then you've got the yoke, and then the back, and then that's from the right side. So you've got the collar here, you've got the outside yoke and the main bit there. And then this is the collar. I need to obviously press it and everything. So yeah, that's the front. So yeah, it needs a really good press and everything on there, but yes, I'm very happy with my progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there for today, just because, yeah, I still need to do a few bits. It's coming up to 4:30 now, and I've actually got a friend coming over for dinner in about kind of half an hour, 45 minutes. So I want to get dinner started. And so, yeah, I will pick the remainder of this sew along up with you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye. Hi everybody, welcome to day 2. So I left you yesterday where I had just done the burrito method on the shirt, and I've given it a slight press. There is quite a bit of I think top stitching to do now. So I've given it a bit of a press. It all looks nice and tidy and clean there, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to move on to the next step, which is attaching the facing pieces to the shoulders, so that all sits in line. So it does say that you can either stitch in the ditch or you can top stitch it. I'm probably going to top stitch, just because my stitch in the ditch, I don't think I'm going to be that accurate. So I'm going to top stitch these bits here, and then we then move on to kind of starting to hem the tie. So yeah, I'm going to get going with that. It's a very hot day today. So I'm wearing my Molly dress, Sew Over It Molly dress, in the Tilly and the Buttons rainbow fabric. So yeah, I'm going to get going with that. Okay, so I have top stitched the facing of the shoulder to the main part, and if you can see, I'm not sure if this is going to show up, but I've top stitched along there, and on the inside you can then see that the facing pieces are now fully attached. So yeah, I think that looks quite nice. So the next step we've got is, so on the facing pieces, so yeah, we just have to create a double fold hem for this tie section, and then it looks like then we're going to have to top stitch. So yeah, so create the double fold, yeah, and then once we've created that fold, we're then going to need to stitch all along here, and then top stitch all up here as well, across to the top of the collar. So yeah, I'm going to get on and do that now. I've done the top stitching now, so I've done it from the bottom of the collar all the way down the placket and then on the tie. Now it was a little bit fiddly doing the double folding and everything kind of on these curves, and Helen does actually put some little tips in there to help you, so it does take a little bit of time to do it, but you know, overall, I mean, it's come out, I think, quite well there. On the other side, maybe a little bit not as tidy, but the main thing is that that side looks tidy. So yeah, I'm happy with how that's gone, and I've given it a press as well. So the next step is, so now we've got to top stitch the actual facing, inside facing pieces. So I've top stitched this side, but now we need to top stitch this side. So I'm going to do that now. So I have done that top stitching as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it looks really neat. It's probably not showing up great on there, but yeah, I think I'm making some real good progress with this. And yeah, I mean, the instructions, I have to say, are really, really good. I haven't been confused for anything yet, so that is good. So the next step is to sew the side seams, and then I can try it on and it would look lovely, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm going to sew the side seams and then also hem the bottom as well, and then once I've done that, then it will be time to insert the sleeves. So I have now sewn the side seams, given it just a quick once to put on, and yeah, it seems absolutely fine. And I've done the hemming. So it's just sitting on my mannequin at the moment, and I've had a look, and the next stage is to do the sleeves. So there are two different sleeve variations depending on what you want. Yes? Come on then. Not sure if you can hear Bentley. You can do just like a narrow hem on the sleeve, or you can do a wider hem. So I think I'm going to do a wider hem. So yeah, so she does suggest to do the hemming of the sleeve first, and then you've got to sew in the gathering stitches at the top and then sew it in to the actual top. So yeah, I'm going to get on and do that. Hey? What are you meowing for? Hey? Let me go sit up on the windowsill. No? You can stay there. So I had a little bit of trouble with one of the sleeves. So first one went in, no problem, no puckers, perfect. Put the second one in and I found just a couple of little tiny puckers, managed to fix one, and then as I was fixing the last one, which is right at the top of the sleeve head, I don't know what happened, but I put it in the machine and it just grabbed a whole load of the fabric and chewed it up a little bit. And so I tried to try and rescue it as much as I can, and I think it's okay. There are a few kind of like punch holes in the fabric, and because it is cotton lawn, I'm hoping it won't cause any holes. I mean, I have got some spare fabric obviously if I ever need to change it, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it probably from there. I'm not sure if it's the right kind of angle at all. I'll see if I can insert a picture, but yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment really. I don't know what happened. It must have just got caught underneath. But anyway, managed to fix it. It's really hot at the moment, so I'm just getting all hot and bothered. But I'm nearly there. So I just need to top stitch the sleeves now, and then I think it's on to buttonholes and things. So that is the sleeve cuffs done, and what I've done is I've actually done, it says to just do one row of stitching, but I've actually done 2 rows just because I kind of thought it would kind of look quite nice and quite smart. And in the instructions they do say when you wear it you can either just, you know, wear it as is, or you can turn it up, and I quite like the idea of the turn up, and I just thought with the 2 rows of stitching I thought that would be quite nice. So that's done now, and then I'm on to the last part now, which is the buttonholes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little practice run, just make sure that it'll all go as smoothly as possible. And if you haven't seen my August sewing plans, I'll insert a picture here of the buttons that I'm going to be using for the shirt, and I mean I'll show you some close-up pictures as well once it's done, but yeah, nearly there. And it is finished. I am so pleased with it. I think it's adorable. I love the little tie, I love the fabric, I love my little boat buttons, and I love how it fits. I think it's a brilliant pattern, and I made the size 10, and yeah, I've got plenty of room, and it's still got that kind of loose shirt effect, so I'm very happy. I have teamed it up with some high-waisted jeans, and I think it looks really nice. I probably maybe would wear a little cami top maybe underneath, just because if I reach up you do get a little bit of midriff, but that's just my personal preference. So the instructions, absolutely hats off to Helen. She has done amazing instructions. I didn't get stuck once, so that is brilliant. She has marked this as an intermediate pattern, and I think I would agree with that. You do have the facings, you've got buttonholes, obviously you do have a collar, and the ties, maybe hemming those can be a tiny bit fiddly, but to be honest, her instructions are great. So I think even if you are a confident beginner, you could give it a go, but just take your time with it. I think that's something that I have learnt with it, is just make sure you take your time through each stage. And yeah, I think you get amazing results. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video that Helen got in contact with me because she heard I was doing this sew along, and she said to me, would I like a few free copies of the Gilbert top to give away to some of my lovely watchers. So if you would like to be entered into this giveaway, I've got 3 copies of the Gilbert to give out, and all you need to do to enter is let me know, if you were going to make this top, what fabric would you make it out of? Would you do, you know, a cotton lawn like I've done? Would you do a linen? Would you do a chambray? You know, or is there a pattern that you'd like to do, you know, fabric wise? You know, do you like the boats? Would you have something like cats or something geometric? Just anything. If you were to win that pattern, what fabric would you make it out of? So if you just let me know, comment below. If you don't comment to say what you'd make it out of, I'm going to take that as you're not entering, either because you maybe already have the pattern, or maybe you wouldn't want the pattern. So yeah, if you want to be entered, just make sure you let me know, if you were to make the top, what would you make it out of? So I really hope you enjoyed the sew along, and yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, it would be amazing if you could, and if you did enjoy the video, a thumbs up would be absolutely amazing. So I will insert some video footage of me doing some twirling so you can see some of the details a bit better, and I will see you in my next video. Okay, thanks for watching, and speak to you all soon. Bye!